got the
I was,
the locus to
I was,
challenge the fact that.
I was trying to illustrate the meaning of their legal status is changing
Okay.
by giving that example that if they make any law, if they cease and purport to have made any law, such law can be challenged by any citizen. And the
Okay.
court will declare that that law is not a law because it is made by persons who are not members of the House of Assembly. So their legal status will not be determined by the fact that governor recognized them or they were able to sit and do what they have purported to do. No, it will not change. The law will not be changed or amended by recognition.
Okay, now can I ask about locus? Can any other person outside the legislators? Now, you've said the remaining, according to your legal calculations, are 3 legislators at the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now, if the 3 decide to recognize the 27, can anybody outside these group of people, these legislators, challenge the processes in courts? Does any other person have the locus to challenge, sitting or plenary held by, these people?
Yes. As a citizen, especially from Rivers State, even as a citizen of Nigeria, you are under obligation to observe the Constitution. Section 28 of the Constitution imposes duties on citizens. So you cannot, you have the right to protect the Constitution, and anybody can challenge it. Yeah, remember that whatever action they take has legal implication on citizens of the state who are affected by laws made in the state.
Yeah.
So yes, you can challenge the legitimacy of such actions or of such law, and yes, you will stand to do so. The way.
Interesting. It's getting really interesting. But some lawyers have argued that we cannot say that the seats of the 27 lawmakers are vacant because it must be the court that would declare. The court must hear from both sides because, of course, the 27 people have a right to argue whether there is division in their party or not.
No, that is not correct. You recall I explained this when we talked about it at that time.
Yeah.
Look at the section in question, 1091G. It does not put obligation on any other agency. It says when that's taken, the person has vacated the seat. The follow-up action it calls for is that the remaining members should sit. When the House sits, the presiding officer or the person, a member of the House, should bring up that fact. And once that is brought up and the House comes by the evidence before it that indeed the person has defected, that the presiding officer should declare the position vacant. The law does not put that responsibility on the court. Neither does it put it on
No. This is what. Okay, Prof. There is a break coming up, but this is where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the aspect that the 27 lawmakers can argue that there is division in their party. I mean, who's going to define division in this case, if not the courts? Because the other members cannot decide division for the other lawmakers who are complaining that there is division in their party. But when we come back from the commercial break, I'd like us to explore that angle, that perspective to the conversation. But there is a quick commercial break up next. Do stay tuned. that's local government, and resigning his position as Speaker and member of the River State House of Assembly. All right, welcome back, Prof. Welcome back on the show.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, before the break, you asked that they can argue that only they can argue that there was crisis in their party and all of that and everybody. No, the law does not leave it in the hands and mouth of those who vacate their seat. If they feel that the situation is different, they can approach the court as they have done.
Okay.
But their continuation, the language of the law is straight and automatic. Their continuation in office is ended unless the court decides otherwise. As for whether or not there is crisis in a party, it's no longer a thing left. It's not a magic. It's not a thing left to those who are willing to decide. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has, in a plethora of cases, decided what amounts to crisis in a party, and it said clearly, it's not I think that's a crisis or I believe. It says there has to be organization crisis at the center of the party in such a way that either the executive committee is divided or the rival executive committees, rival board of trustees, etc., etc. Meaning that even if you had a crisis in your state, it is not a justification for vacating the party, for defecting from the party to another party, because you are sponsored by the national party and not by a state branch. So the law is clear on what constitutes crisis, and as you and I know, that does not exist. And all of that must have been considered by the remaining members of the House at the time they carried out the constitutional responsibility of declaring those seats vacant. So yes, you can approach the court and try to convince the court that the situation was different. If the court agrees with you, then you can come back. But until then, you are out. According to the
but do you think there is the slightest possibility that the court will agree with the 27? I mean, we've seen in recent times how the judiciary, has been in the eye of the storm. Do you see that possibility where the 27 can get a positive verdict?
That will amount to such a high court overruling the Supreme Court of Nigeria. It will be the highest level of rascality.
The highest level of rascality, you say?
So I do not foresee it. I would have seen a lot of ugly things, but I do not think that our judges are up to that level that they will overrule the Supreme Court on issues that have been clearly resolved by the Supreme Court.
No, just to mention, I know you've said this before in our previous conversation last year, but it's looking like the parties to this drama happening are thinking of withdrawing to what it was before the crisis began. So they want to act as if there was no fight. Is it possible, looking at the legal explanations that you've given to us on the show?
It's not possible to return to how things were at the beginning because constitutional steps have been taken, which clearly have constitutional effect. That's why it's not possible to return. And if you recall, earlier I alluded to that fact that even if 27 says now that, okay, they are back in their party, so they are going back to their party. That will be going back after they have done something that has a constitutional effect, which has been carried out fully. So it will not change anything.
So an out-of-court settlement.
The only way back for them to get back to that house as members and active, as members making law. It's through election.
All right. I was going to ask you, so there is no possibility for an out-of-court settlement for this one? When people commit crimes, sometimes they get to have access to out-of-court settlements. It doesn't work for this one.
In matters of law, especially the Constitution, you cannot agree, cannot amend the Constitution by agreement.
Okay.
So you cannot, by out-of-court settlement, change a constitutional issue. You may choose to close the eye to it and recognize what is not existing. So that's entirely your responsibility, because the law itself will not change unless there is an amendment to it.
Then the
parties cannot, by agreement, amend the law.
Okay.
especially the Constitution.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask the listeners to join the conversation now, because the question
That's okay.
the question on my mind is, why then would Edison Ehie resign if, like you've explained, there is no possibility for the Legislative Assembly in River State to go back to what it was before the political crisis started in River State, and it also means that it is going to be near impossible to implement all the things in that 8-point agenda or 8-point accord as agreed upon in Abuja last month. That's the question in my mind. Why did he? Is it because there is some further political storm coming that we do not know about? I mean, we've listened to the prof, we've listened to his legal calculations, his legal explanations. He has made reference to the grand norm, which is the Constitution. Oh my goodness. But what are your thoughts on this one? I'd like to know. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. We're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. We're active on X, Nigeria Info PH, and we are active, or rather live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH. Happy Michael says, Happy New Year, my most admirable legal luminary. I have no reason to doubt your findings and submission on the issue under discussion. I always get educated and enlightened whenever you discuss any issue. I wish I had studied law under your tutelage. You are a disciplined man and handsome man too. I guess that's for Prof, because I'm not a lawyer. So Prof, someone is saying you've done him good being on the show.
I thank him and I wish him a happy new year.
Okay. Tamanoi Itekena Dagogo says, Section 306 of the Constitution says, a speaker sends his resignation letter to the clerk of the House, and a resigning House member sends his resignation to the Speaker of the State Assembly. Remembering how then Adamawa Deputy Governor Bala Ingelari's 2014 resignation was sent to the wrong person, the Speaker, instead of the Governor Iyako, and the court reinstated him as the governor, and had been subsequently impeached. Please ask Prof if technically Speaker Edison Ehie or Aode East Assemblyman has resigned. We'll get to that one. Let's see who we have. Okay, we have God's Power from Iche calling right now. Hello, God's Power, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Elada.
Yeah, happy New Year to you.
I also thank the Professor of Law.
Okay.
He's doing wonderful, and his explanation is wonderful.
Okay.
More researchable.
Okay.
Things are very complicated. All the explanations, we that are laymen are not getting the to through more than that. If a dear resigns, there are two resignations there, as the Speaker and the member of the House Assembly. Now, this peradventure he comes back to, are they in the same pari-passu, in the same shoe with the other 27? That's one. And
when you say come back out, like he did not resign again, is that what you're saying?
The coming back is the other 27 resigned, either by recognition or by agreement. They said they have come back. And now they have come back. And are featuring as members of the House, expecting the law or the court to decide. But now, if he comes back to functioning until when the court
no, he can't. I mean, he has sent in his resignation letter. It's very clear for all to see. The 27 only moved from one party to the other, and that's where the confusion is on that one. So I think they're different cases.
Okay.
Quickly.
And the other side, that we say legitimately the Speaker is correct. There are lots of confusion. I don't understand who is the members of the House now. And are there the three or the 27?
He said the three.
What does the Constitution say? That's what I want to get.
But okay, all right, I'll let him answer that. But let's get to Precious from Rumodumaya. Precious, welcome.
Thank you very much, Carla. Happy New Year.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm Precious Worship from Rumuruba. I'm really interested in this topic. You see,
All right.
one of the things that I think that is happening for the reasons why Edison Ehie resigns. I want to tell you that you know that obviously from the inception of this matter that Edison Ehie knew that he was not the speaker. How? The person that was elected the speaker when he was the leader was Martin Samangulu. So if there was a problem, the Martin Samangulu suspended 4 persons, which Edison Ehie was involved, and these other 4 persons. So from all indication, Edison Ehie is aware that they are already on suspension. Even if the High Court eventually came and then okayed Edison Ehie as the speaker, they know that at the end of the day, even if this matter proceeds properly in court, it will be clashed off eventually that he is not a speaker. And at that point in time, he would have made mess of everything.
Okay.
Who is declaring the seat of persons vacant? We are aware that they were suspended, 4 of them, they were suspended. So
now, can I pause you, Precious? I'm guessing you missed episodes of my other episodes of my conversation with Prof. In those episodes, he said yes, they were suspended, which of course is another constitutional matter which can be debated. But once those 27 defected, according to the Constitution, they lost their position, and then the suspended members became the proper members of the assembly. Suspended or not, the people who suspended them lost their power to be members, so automatically they became members. So that argument is there. That's one part of it. Or maybe I should let Prof do justice to that, please.
Yes, you're correct on what we discussed earlier. And remember that the suspension is an in-house thing.
Okay.
House rules cannot be compared to the Constitution. So if you are placed on rat race within the house, on the rules of the house, and then something happens and 27 of you resign or are deemed to resign by virtue of the fact that you defected, you are out completely. The house has only those 4 members. A suspended member, for instance, if we take it from that angle that he was looking at, a suspended member is a member. It's a member. It's not a third member.
All right.
So at the point that only 4 people are left in the House of Assembly, they are the only 4 people, the only 4 members. Their legitimacy is not affected by the actions of those who have resigned, voluntarily resigned by defecting.
Okay. Now, so someone asked a question about whether 3 people legitimately run the River State House of Assembly. Going by your explanation earlier, that's from God's Power, who called it from Ritchard.
28 members of the House, as it stands now, have voluntarily vacated their seats. They have resigned or been deemed to have resigned by virtue of their taking the constitutional step that leads to the same effect of resignation. And so you are left with only 3. Those 3, if there is a thing to be done, incidentally, what was required to be done had been done when there were 4. There is no difference between 3 and 4 per house of the number of members that they had. There is really no difference. But whatever action that the House was required to take will be taken by those who are left. What is left is for the Constitution to be followed by those who have responsibility, institutions that have responsibility to restore membership to the House. Because the constituencies, 28 constituencies that are affected, have to have the right to be represented.
Okay.
So it's for the institutions of state to take up the responsibility, the follow-up action to enable those constituencies to be represented in the House.
Okay. Now, someone on Facebook asked, I think that's from Tamila Itekena Dagogo, if if there is a procedure for resignation from the House, because he made reference to somewhere in Adamawa State where the then deputy governor had sent his resignation to to the speaker. Is it the speaker instead of the governor? And when he went to court, the court said he was still deputy because he sent it to the wrong person. So is there a particular pattern for resignation from the House of Assembly or from any legislative assembly in Nigeria?
Yeah, the section 306 of the Constitution provides for the procedure and processes to which those resignations should be directed. For instance, sub-6 says the notice of resignation of the President of the Senate and of the Speaker of the House of Representatives shall in each case be addressed to the Clerk of the National Assembly. And the notice of resignation of the Speaker of a House of Assembly shall be addressed to the Clerk of the House of Assembly of the State. So that's what is required for a Speaker of the House. In the case of notice of resignation of a member of a legislative house, that's under 7, such notice shall be addressed to the President of the Senate or, as the case may require, to the Speaker of the legislative house in question. So since the Speaker is resigning both as Speaker and resigning as member of the House, the appropriate thing for him to do is to comply with what is possible and available, and that is to address it to the Clerk of the House.
Interesting.
Which is where he's supposed to address later as Speaker.
But in what we've seen on social media, that letter was written to, correct me if I'm wrong, INEC, right? Or am I wrong on that one? I need to go back and look at the letter again as seen on social media.
Incidentally, I'm not looking at the letter, but going by the provision of Section 306, a resignation letter from the Speaker should go to the Clerk of the House, while a resignation letter from a member should go to the Speaker of the House. So since it is both Speaker and member that is resigned, I think it's appropriate that it goes to the Clerk of the House, since there is no Speaker that the letter can go to.
All right, let's read some more messages and we'll come back to that. This one says, Happy New Year. From my sick bed, I received the shocking news of the sudden resignation of Honorable Edison Ehie, Speaker, Rivers State House of Assembly, and as member representing Auda East State Constituency. As a journalist with vast experience in Rivers politics and political analysis of great value, what is the significance of his resignation to the governor as his helmsman and the political equation in Rivers State come 2024? You're asking me. I mean, that's what we're talking about. Maybe if you're listening, or if you're listening, you would have heard some people contribute to that effect. Let's see. This one says, what you see playing out is political bastardy. The illegality in what politicians do is being emboldened by the romance between oppressive political power mongers and the luminaries in the judicial system. I suspect that more surprising things will play out as far as there are oppressive tendencies rigging the martyrs in Rivers State. Okoroma Godwin Chooks from Erema. This one says, I wish Nigerian judges and the judiciary can be as decent as Professor Nwokocha in words, thoughts, and in actions. Then Nigeria will be a better place. God bless the Prof for his unbiased analysis. As always, God will deliver Nigeria from the hands of all. I don't know what you put there, but you said judges in Nigeria. John Peters with that one. This one says, Edison Ehie is not speaker and has never been a speaker. The position of the 1999 Constitution has altered is explicit on how a speaker is elected from among the members of the House. The Constitution didn't include the court as party of the membership who should elect or choose a speaker for a House of Assembly in Nigeria. In the case of defection, the law is not automatic. The Constitution recognized the speaker as the person constitutionally authorized to make proclamation and write to INEC. The sitting which unconstitutionally produced Edison Ehie as the self-acclaimed speaker didn't constitute a quorum, which is number criteria to transact business of the House, and also falls short of two-thirds majority as required by the grand norm. So Edison Ehie lacks constitutional recognition to declare any seat vacant. The backdoor recognition of Edison Ehie by Rivers State High Court will in shame because Edison Ehie is not a speaker and has never been elected as speaker by Rivers State House of Assembly, Emi Fiaga. Prof, what's your take on that one?
On the issue of quorum, yes, it's correct with respect to the issue of quorum, but that's quorum where you have a full house. Now, on the issue of who presides the sitting of the house, he needs to look at the Constitution.
Okay.
It says in Section 95, which talks of presiding as sitting. It says in sub 1 that the speaker shall preside. In sub 2, it says in the absence of the speaker, the deputy shall preside. And it further continues there that in the absence of both of them, that such member of the house as the house may elect for that purpose shall preside. So the house will not direct the speaker and deputy speaker. If in any circumstance both of them are not present or are not available or are not there, the house will elect one of them, the speaker present, to preside over the sitting of the house once they have quorum. So if you want to combine it, you ask yourself, what is the number of members left in the house? And if from those that are left, one of them is nominated by the others to preside over their meeting, the house is sitting.
And they can form a quorum in such special situation.
Because the others have resigned in this case, they are not looking anymore at the one. What you have is the total number of members are available. And since the Constitution requires the action to be taken by the House, those number of members left will have capacity to take the action that is required by the law.
Okay.
Because in the first place, no other institution, no other authority can act except that authorized by the Constitution to act. So you must look at it from the circumstance that the others are deemed to have resigned by vacating their seats, according to the Constitution.
All right. Just to add spice to our conversation, let's listen to the governor yesterday. He was in a church service just before it dawned 1st January 2024. And this is some of the things he had to say.
What they want is this red Bible. It's still with me. They have failed. We are the winner because we are still signing the red Bible. And so long as we are signing the red Bible, development will continue in Rivers State. 2024 will witness unprecedented height in our state. The only thing we are asking from every one of you is your support, is your prayers. Also believe in every decision that we take.
So I'm guessing what he meant was, I'm not an interpreter, but I'm just trying to tell you what I think he was trying to say. That, they want to take his position from him. The red bar, I guess, is, a symbol of authority. And it also signals that this problem has not yet reached its end. And so it still puts me in the state of confusion and conundrum as to why Edison Ehie has left, despite all the things that the prophet said. I'm wondering if he's not been listening to our show. But this one says, this is meant to. This is becoming interesting. You meant to say SF Smart from Agri Estate Port Harcourt. Now, Prof, you just reminded me of INEC. So, what should INEC be doing at this point? Because now the letter has gone to INEC. INEC has been quiet, has not said anything since the letter got to them.
The Constitution gives INEC 90 days in which to act. It didn't say to act on the 90th day, but so long as it acts within 90 days of receiving that notification from the House of Assembly.
Okay,
within the time. So I think 90 is not yet 90 days. So we take it that they are still within time. We should be wondering why they haven't acted, because they can act any day from the next day after receive the letter to 90 days. So they are still within time.
All right. Prof, there's a recommendation here that they want you to be the Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice Rivers State.
Those are political positions.
Okay, and you're not in for politics. Okay, very good. You're just like me.
Every citizen owes the nation obligation.
Yeah.
And where that obligation arises, you have to look at your duties as a citizen in responding to it. So we are not there. at the moment. We are currently facing the challenges we have.
All right.
On speaking of business.
All right. That was from Lady V. She said you are a man of honor and integrity, and she appreciates that. But someone is asking, is it possible for the resignation of Edison to be rejected?
You can hardly force responsibility on a person. So, is it possible? It shouldn't be impossible for somebody to raise questions if something comes before you, but you can't compare him to remain when he wants to go. You will then be violating his right as a citizen, as granted in Chapter 4 of the Constitution. So certainly you can't stop him from leaving. Whether you accept or reject, you can't stop him from leaving. It's except from when he receives later. He is free.
Okay, so let's interact with some few callers. 0817-923-0002 and 0817-923-0003. The Prof is still with us, so you can ask your questions. You can put up your contributions, and then the Prof will tell you if it's according to the Constitution or not. Because sometimes, when we talk on radio, we just put out our sentiments and our bias and opinion, but not necessarily what is the law. So let's get to learn. I love having Prof on the show because I get to learn. I've got Micah, and Micah is calling in from Micah is calling in from Bori. Let's take a listen to Micah's thoughts. Or Borokiri, I'm sorry. He's calling in from Borokiri. Micah, welcome.
Okay. Happy New Year to you and Prof.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, I have a question, man. If, hypothetically speaking, if the River State government presently and the new members of legally recognized members of the House of Assembly decide to resolve this matter politically, like accepting everybody back and every office and nobody's challenging, will it work? I just want to answer that. And then if, if we also have a right to challenge that decision, that's one. Then secondly, if at an issue, all of them, all the House of Assembly members, and including the River State government, decide to jump ship to another party, now will there be any issue with that? When they decide to move, like some of them, they were advised, and I know some of them are also your learned colleague, they cited an excuse which the law provides. So which means they know that something has to happen before you move, and they only cited the issue with their national secretary, which is, from your explanation, that is not to a reasonable extent that will allow anybody to move. Now, in a case where they are citing such as an excuse, and all of them, all the House of Assembly members, and including the government and the governor, moves, so nobody decline anybody if they can. Will anybody challenge it? Will that one stand?
Okay. All right. We'll get to answer that. Let's listen to Origi from Ogbogu. Let's listen to his thoughts. Origi, welcome.
Yes. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Happy New Year to you.
How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Quickly, we don't have time. Let's get your thoughts, please.
Yes, you see, politicians are very dangerous people now. And the lawyers too are so helping them. We don't know which one to follow. The question I want to ask the Professor now is, do we have House of Assembly in River State?
Very solid question.
Do we really have House of Assembly now in River State?
Very solid question. All right, thank you, Origi. Prof, let's start from that. Do we have, looking at the Constitution and what the Constitution requires, the requirements for a house to be set up, do we have that in River State?
You do have a House of Assembly in River State, as required by the Constitution, as provided by the Constitution. What you have, the scenario you have on your hand is that 28 members have vacated the House of Assembly.
Okay.
So what you have on your hand is a House of Assembly that has 3 members left. And what is required to be done is to take the action that the Constitution says should be taken in such circumstances. The Constitution knows that individuals may decide at some point to vacate, and it has provided for what we should do.
All right.
Has the House of Assembly ceased to exist? No, it still exists. It still has just 3 members remaining, valid and legal members remaining.
Okay.
What is left is action, flow of action that needs to be taken to fully repopulate the House of Assembly and give us the constituencies the right of representation in the House of Assembly. It's not the fault of the constituencies that the members resign.
So someone called in earlier and talked about, if everybody, and I think I asked a similar question, if everybody is in tune with the political, what then happens at that point?
Yeah, if everybody moves, including the governor, as they asked, nothing happens to the governor because the law does not require governors to lose their seat if they move. That was clearly resolved in Atiku General's case. Vice President Atiku's case, while he had his crisis with then President Obasanjo, and when he left the party to ACN. So that is resolved. For the Assembly, all the members will be deemed to have vacated their seats. If nobody raises it, they will continue. Sometime in the past I told you when such people hold meetings, they are holding a committee of friends meeting.
Yeah, committee of friends meeting.
They will continue with such committee of friends meeting. And if you allow yourself to be bound by it, fine. But if anybody challenges it, what they have done will be declared a committee of friends meeting.
All right.
Because in the eyes of the law, they no longer exist as members of the House.
Let's listen.
The right to challenge it, and they are the legal consequence of their actions.
Let's listen to Daniel from NTA Road. Daniel, welcome. Quickly, we've got a few seconds.
Interesting discussion you're having.
Okay.
I just want to contribute kind of on the reason why the speaker resigned.
Okay.
Probably he wants to come out fresh and recontest if the Constitution allows that. That way, he cannot be seen as being the wrong speaker in the first place. And probably clean on coming back. And maybe because he feels that the Constitution will be upheld.
Okay. And
those 27 that has defected will remain, their seat will remain vacant. And at the nick of time, INEC will conduct another election to replace the 27.
But he didn't. If that's your argument, he did not need to resign because he's still recognized by law as a member of the House. He did not have to resign as a member of the House because he resigned both as a speaker, according to the report, and a member of the House representing Outer East.
Yes, there is his position as a speaker is still being questioned.
But his membership is not being. That's what we're saying. So if the law finally finds the 27, but Daniel, I don't have enough time for this argument.
His membership also was.
No, his membership was not. No, it wasn't.
He was suspended.
Suspension still is a member. But I've got to go, Daniel. I've got to go. I'm sorry, Prof. Thank you very much for your time. I just even got a message saying that INEC cannot act because there is an order from an Abuja court saying that everybody should maintain status quo. But thank you very much for your time and your teaching on the show. I hope I can have you on the show in the nearest future.
It's a citizen's duty. Thanks for having me.
All right then. Thank you. a fantastic show. My guest in the studio has given me some very vital information about what we want to talk about, and I'm excited because, like the name implies, hard facts. We like to get the facts on the show. Now, I remember in the month of December, you and we talked a lot about the refinery in Port Harcourt coming on stream, the old Port Harcourt refinery to be precise, with a production capacity daily of 60,000 barrels per day. And we talked, and some of you said, oh, no, the government may not be able to achieve. And I said, let's be positive. And I asked the question, because I always have, what ifs a lot in my pockets. And I asked the question, what if the refinery comes on stream? Today is January 1, 2024, and a lot of people have already started asking, where is the Port Harcourt refinery? Why is the Port Harcourt refinery not working? I got some news for you. I am Kalada Korubasibo. This is Hard Facts, and it's time for us to talk. So this morning we woke up to see the news that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, said that the Port Harcourt refinery is being test run in line with the international best practice. Now, the Chief Corporate Communications Officer NNPCL, Olufemi Sonoye, who made this known, said crude oil is being supplied to the facility. He assured Nigerians that the plant will start commercial production or refine products shortly. Now, also speaking on this, the national president of the Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Billy Gillis Harry, led other marketers to the Port Harcourt refinery, while corroborating this.